Hello guys, welcome to ERL's track guide for the season opener in Bahrain. As you have heard on the previous track guide, this year we'll try to do something different. So we will not be doing these track guides on TT, but on a GP session, so we can try to give you hints that are more suitable for the race session. Also, because from my understanding, what you do in TT will not be easy to translate into the race sessions, mainly due to the TT characteristics of being always on peak grip and peak ERS. And this year, management, especially the battery management, will play a big part on your racing. So we will try like this, hope it helps. If you find that this is not suitable, we're always available to try different things. So the first round will be in Bahrain and we'll head to it. I will try to pick a car which will make us start on the middle of the pack, so we can see also some things on the race start. So let me see. Let's take Yuki. Yuki should qualify around the first half of the grid, and we're also the same height. So let's go. So we'll we'll do an 110 sessions. So AI gives us the best challenge possible in order to also give you the best possible hints, and we'll make it a long session. So tire wear is accurate. Okay, let's go.
Well, the tension is building here at the... So with the race not far away...
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So we start from P7, which is a good place to try to show you the best possible race start and tactics. Okay, so first of all, strategy. Bahrain will enforce a two-stopper unless you override it manually on the race, which means you do those stops on yourself. The strategy menu will not allow you to set a two-stopper. Keep this in mind, especially on Q, because if you are going for a two-stopper with two S tires in mind, you will need to account for it on your Q attempts. As you can see, it is suggesting a SSH strategy. I have seen people trying to start with the hard tire. For me, it has not been a very good tactic, because on Bahrain there is something that you need to focus. You cannot lose the DRS train. As soon as you lose the DRS touch from the car in front, and if that car has DRS, gap will start to build and it will be very hard to reverse. If you go with a harder tire, you may have more trouble to keep up. So I would say that here the SHS is probably a good bet. As for the stops, The undercut attempt, at least on my attempts, did not go as planned. Okay, so this obviously this is a suggested strategy. You should. We always encourage you to try your own tactics and see what best fits you and also according to your starting position on the grid. As per fuel, fuel on this track plus 0.5, at least for me, does the trick. Okay, car setup. Bahrain, you will have at least 4 points where you have those very strong corner exits. So you have a hard braking zone, car enters the corner slowly, and then you put all your gamble on punching the throttle as soon as you can. So we'll build a setup with that in mind. More aero, but not that much so you can try to stay competitive on the straights. I will suggest you something like this. Looks excessive indeed, but this setting will allow you a better traverse on the corners. If you stripe off a lot of aero, you may struggle on the corners and you may lose the edge on exiting the corners. As per the transmission, we're going to bet on a strong on throttle differential, and we'll reduce it here. So as you can see, this is prepared for guiding the car accurately to the apex and then focusing on the exits. As per the engine braking, as you probably know already, if you put it on max, the car will, during coasting, will reduce more and harvest more energy. If you reduce, it's the other way around. Since we have those tight corners where you brake hard, guide it through the apex and then let it rip, I think 100% will help you. Here is the usual. And here the usual too, so a stiff front suspension, a softer rear suspension, anti-roll bars this year, both of them are set into high values, and as per usual, the ride height something around this. Rear ride height is what can help you if you are struggling with the rear of your car. If you feel it too twitchy, increase it until you find that sweet spot. Just remember that this will harm your straight line speed. Okay, so braking. After the patch, braking pressure has returned to 100%, and in Bahrain, since we'll have hard braking towards us, let's keep it on the 57. Here, it's the long road ahead to put it all on max, which seems the meta for this one. Okay, so before we begin, on the first lap I will basically try to show you what the breaking points and how you should tackle what the breaking points are and how you should tackle your corners. And I will also try to help you with the race start. Race start in Bahrain is very, complicated because usually the long straight tight first corner tends to cause a lot of incidents. Who starts from the back always has to realize that they are going to need to brake more than the guys who start in the front. Don't forget this. You are coming with a lot of balance, and you'll find your fellow drivers on a halt, which is what usually happens on this turn one. Account for this, otherwise you're gonna bash one of your fellow drivers. As per gaining and defending your positions, usually I think who starts on the left side has a little more advantage because they can take the outside racing line on turn one, which will give them the optimal position for turn two. And this is what I will try to do on this start. Whoever starts on the right will have a harder time to defend because they will not have a good angle for turn one, and they will be left vulnerable for turn two. So whoever starts on the right, defending will be hard. For me, the best tactic is always to avoid trouble, even if it costs positions. But in Bahrain, this might be troublesome because overtaking here will not be easy, especially if the pack goes on a DRS train. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, at this point we're going to lose P7 since the other car has the best position. Okay, so as you can see, we managed the first set of corners cleanly. As per the braking points, T1 usually is where the curb starts. Then you'll need to upshift, use short shift to keep it stable so you can attack the exit on T2. Watch out because if you stomp the throttle, you will probably lose your rear. As per this corner, the braking point is similar, usually around the 100-meter board. Take it to the left as much as you can. And on this year's game, try to coast through the corner as much as you can. You will feel a ton of difference between the turning and braking and actually letting go of the brake and transferring your grip to the steering. On this year, you will feel this difference. So if you have a bad habit, which is quite common on people who are training for trail braking, and this bad habit is to keep pressing the braking while turning the car, you have to try to ditch it as soon as you can. Try to train your mind and brain to release the braking when you are going for the apex. Otherwise, this always harms your cornering speed and your lap time, and this time it will be even worse. Okay, try to take it to a safer place to pause the game. So after the right corner, you have that fast sweeping S-bend, what I usually do is bring it to the left, try to mantle a little bit of that curb, and try to kind of forget that left turn. Keep it on a straight line so you can prepare the right turn. Downshift to fifth and immediately counter your steering to the left without a very harsh movement so you can start feeding the throttle. As per the next part, it's a downhill section, so what you need to do is point diagonally to the braking point, keep it on sixth gear, and then one of those places where you will brake hard, guide your car through the apex on third, second gear as you prefer, and focus on the exit. Now for this next part, this corner is usually very hard. What I try to do is kind of sacrifice that small left turn, and after that left turn is completed, start braking, but not in a full braking input. You need to modulate your braking so you can reduce your car speed while beginning to corner for that tricky left turn. I do it on third, but on this year's game, second gear is also viable. On this year's game, lower gears are more viable on corners and they can provide you better as exits, but more twitchy ones. Oh, sorry. My mistake, I was watching the MFD. We'll try to get it right on the next lap. The second lap, I will be taking the lap without any interruptions, so it looks a little more clear. Okay, so this part, you will brake after the 100-meter board, take it to fourth gear. Fifth is also viable, but it will cut your turning ability. And as soon as you feel it stable, punch in the throttle and to rely on the car to keep it without losing your rear. This one seems more stable on this year's game. Then it's all about that right turn, which is very tricky. There are no braking references, so you need to do it by heart. What I try to do is reduce the car to the proper speed and then coast around the corner and try to return to the throttle as early as I can. And on that corner, on that right corner, you will be able to return earlier than you think. Practice it, and you will notice that you will be able to accelerate sooner and sooner each time. Okay, so before the last corner, ERS is hard to manage here because you will need a lot of it on the straights, especially if you are struggling to keep with the car ahead. Regaining ERS won't be easy, but there are 2 points where you can drop the mode to none, which is the best mode to harvest energy, and you will not suffer that much from the lack of power, which is before the braking for turn 1 and that T2, T3 part, you can keep it on the none, and then when the car is starting to feed in the speed, then on by that point you should go to a higher mode, otherwise you're going to back down a lot. And also on the part after the S. So you have that fast S-bend, and if you are going close to the car in front, dropping to none and doing that tight right corner and approaching the tricky left corner of T10, those are good parts to ride on none and harvest some energy, especially if you are going with a car in front.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
Okay, so hope this helps. On the Grand Prix session, I don't know if you will feel it like I did in this lap, because usually AI tends to have very good balance between straight line speed and downforce on corners, which I don't know how to replicate. Okay, so hope this helps. Have a great season opener, and let me know if you like this kind of track guide, if you think it helps, or if you prefer the other way on a TT session. Um, I will try to do whatever is best for you. Have a great race. Cheers.